Hello and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. The SEC has just submitted a new document in the library case, and their requests provide insight into what the judge may want for in the Ripple case. Now is the time to ask any question you like. It's interesting, but I can tell you right now that the library patrons aren't going to get their way in this case. We'll take a look at it. Once again, Stuart Eldorado takes aim at the SEC and makes some reasonable points of criticism. Ex-regional director for the Southeastern Conference Mark Fogel offers some intriguing speculation on the possible outcomes of this situation. Finally, this court case provides an explanation for Ripple. Where do we stand with XRP? Do we need a ruling from the courts on whether or not XRP is a security in order to trade it on the secondary market? That is the main focus of our attention. That's where we set up shop. To be clear, we are not primary dealers. We don't make purchases from Ripple itself. Let's have a chat about it. Finally, I'd like to comment on Brad Garlinghouse's declaration. By the end of the third quarter, a verdict should have been reached in this case. We'll dive right in. But before we get there, you should know that as a result of these NFT mintings, fees on the Bitcoin network are skyrocketing right now. And I haven't done any research on it. I have no idea if that contains anything of importance. What I can say, though, is that among Bitcoin users, there is a lot of discussion. Should we prohibit this because it's driving up fees and slowing down transactions, or should we just let the free market work its magic? I'll just come out and say it, I'm not a programmer. I can't say that I have any firm feelings on this. But I think that would be the way to go if we could move in the direction of not censoring things, if people used open source software for an open source cause. As costs continue to rise, we've noticed that some African Bitcoin users are turning to stablecoins as an alternative. As a result, people's daily routines are being altered. Different people have different ideas on how to stop the abrupt increase in BRC 20 minutes. As a result, there are competing theories to consider. One email list participant expressed concern that real Bitcoin transactions were being priced out. Tokens that are so obviously worthless pose a danger to the Bitcoin network's integrity as a peer-to-peer digital money. Therefore, this can be annoying. You're only attempting to make a routine payment. There are now too many coin mintings for you to do so. We take the opposing opinion that you may not like this use case, but if you play whack-a-mole, a group of people will inevitably emerge a year from now to protest your use case. People may argue that there are better ways to handle large-scale payments and that these microtransactions are preventing the processing of larger transactions. Censor those, please. You should probably exercise extreme caution. The free market will probably figure it out. If these NFT mints are useless, there is no reason to restrict access to the Bitcoin network. So, what do you know? People ain't going to pay big fees to engage in this kind of business, you know. And, the buzz will go down and life will go back to normal. And this is something we must address anyway. When sentiment is extremely optimistic and a high volume of trades is taking place, costs tend to rise. The free market can be seen here. It acts on its own accord. Go elsewhere if you need your transactions processed quickly and easily. However, unless the general security is at risk, I don't think we should intervene to shut down the free market of a decentralized system. My personal viewpoint. The outcome will be seen. I'm willing to wager, though, that they needn't bother. The current NFT frenzy will eventually die down. Stuart Eldorado, the current head of the Securities and Exchange Commission, has recently been quoted as saying that he views judicial review as a tool and congressional oversight as a game of hide and seek. There is no cryptographic issue here. We the people have to figure this out. This is a complex setup, which allows these persons to remain anonymous. However, it is undeniable that the rules governing the full gamut of crypto assets are murky at best. Whether the SEC considers Ethereum, Cardano, XRP, or any other cryptocurrency project to be a breach of securities laws is not something we can state with any degree of confidence. That's the crux of the matter. In retrospect, we can say that was an equity stake. Since it does not involve a loan security, this type of deal cannot be considered a security transaction. However, many people are deterred from entering this area simply because of the possibility of legal repercussions. Your thoughts? Many of the largest technology companies do not support this. Many financial firms, including banks, are hesitant to adopt this practice out of concern that the SEC may step in and cause trouble. Therefore, it is not sufficient to merely state that the rules are obvious. The Securities and Exchange Commission's next move is unclear. And that's a major issue. They must document the steps necessary to achieve compliance. Your major players will follow the rules if they want any part of the lucrative American market. In other words, they hope to make a name for themselves in this field. However, many people are unwilling to accept such chances. And the danger is that you can never predict what the SEC will do next. And that ruins the overall atmosphere here. It's bad for business and stifles creativity. Document the guidelines. Provide certain rules for the industry, and enable entrepreneurs develop crypto in a lawful way. One of the most pressing issues is whether or not XRP will be addressed. Just because the Howey case didn't affect the trade of orange orchards nationally, we don't see why the secondary market for cryptocurrencies should be any different. As if it were of little consequence. It was all the work of Howey Company. The following is what former SEC Regional Director Mark Fogel had to say about it. The SEC has not ruled out the possibility of the case's effects on the secondary market. So they can truly have it both ways here. However, the lawsuit merely challenges Ripple's sales from a legal standpoint. Without addressing the secondary market, the court can rule on that liability. That's an issue. It is possible that this case could be resolved with no reference to the secondary market at all. Fortunately, John Deaton is here to try to intervene and press for those answers on behalf of the aggrieved parties in the United States, the secondary market dealers. Whatever the case may be, we're hoping for an explanation there. The SEC is notoriously cautious. They might give up on the Ripple and declare, well, those facts and circumstances are only for Ripple, effectively shutting down any discussion of secondary market token trade. They chose not to file a lawsuit over that potential game changer for obvious reasons. You want information about token and link trading, as well as Ethereum and ADA, but they refuse to provide it. Their goal is to appear mysterious. In this case, the court is not required to rule on that question. However, I think we finally understand. And if we get an answer there, it might make this whole exercise, this battle with the SEC, worthwhile by providing clarity to the whole space. No should be the correct response. They can only control the initial token sale, whether that's through Ripple, the Ethereum Foundation, or someone else. Perhaps, that has security implications, but not for us trading on the commodities secondary market. Sending money, making a deal, or doing anything else that requires the use of such a tool has nothing to do with the SEC. But again, we don't know their perspective, their posture, and that severely detracts from the space and significantly increases the risk involved for everyone. It will discourage many potential investors from taking part in this opportunity. We won't stop searching for answers until we find the ones that make sense. The question is how much effort, strafing, and combat will be required to reach our destination. People are growing agitated because Brad Garlinghouse says he anticipates a resolution by the end of Q3. The consensus is that Brad is merely delaying the inevitable. Can we, get a straight answer? And the issue, as far as I can tell, is that nobody knows the solution. They didn't hire Brad Garlinghouse or Gary Gensler. Even if the judge has an idea of how long it will take, she won't be rushed. The second quarter is winding down quickly. How should he respond, exactly? Is he telling you that this issue will be settled quite soon? He thinks it will be a satisfactory conclusion. I trust him because hundreds of millions of dollars could be at stake for him personally. I mentioned how his appearance at the Las Vegas event may backfire spectacularly on him if anything went wrong. And he has no fear. He casually drops in to express gratitude on behalf of Ripple to the XRP community, of which Ripple is also a part. I don't believe it's a big deal that he showed up, by the way. I think it's great that he stood up for what he believed in like that. His hundreds of millions of dollars are on the line in the face of imminent danger. It mattered enough to him that he came to face you and say, you know what? We appreciate your support and are always here for you. That, in my opinion, was a pivotal second. This only demonstrates his unwavering conviction. And soon enough, We'll find out how things turn out. To wrap things up, the SEC has just today submitted their supplemental brief concerning remedies. How much do they want the library to pay to get this mess out of court? How severe are the requirements at the end? In this case, the authors argue that disgorging is unnecessary because there is no food left to digest. No longer operating as a company. If you think you've gotten everything you can out of them, think again. They still demand a civil penalty of $111,000 as their top demand. Like they are going to turn a profit on this lawsuit. The issue here is one of authority. It's not as if the library posed some sort of insurmountable threat to civilization and had to be closed down immediately. They simply wish to demonstrate that they are superior to you regardless of the practical value of a token. We can handle you. That is also being done in this location. And all they want to do is add insult to injury by taking money from them. I really have no idea where it will come from. They are completely broke at this point. Second, they want an injunction preventing the library from further infringing paragraph 5 of the agreement. I'm no lawyer, but this seems ridiculous to me. They want to prevent any further illicit securities offers until either LBC is dissolved or all tokens are burned. After that, I just don't get it. Are unregistered securities offerings possible? They can't do anything until the same moment the business is dissolved. I mean, what's the point? You'd never engage in a securities offering that would break the law, and you might be wondering why they aren't just selling the product outside the United States. As if it was still an item with some worth. The token can be exchanged for goods and services at the library or used in the same way that currency is accepted in other markets. I mean, seriously, what's the point? I just don't get it. Maybe the judge will rule in his favor. This judge is an absolute dummy. He'll probably just give them what they ask for and not question it. They certainly couldn't have hoped for a more elegant ruling than the one they started with. Really, that's too bad. A terrible ordeal for the library. They created a method that was both popular and practical. The SEC confessed as much, yet nevertheless prevailed due to a judge's inability to grasp the complexities of the situation. The innovators of tomorrow just want to err on the side of caution by providing the regulator with all they requested and more. In my opinion, they did not have as much success with their major case against Ripple. But we'll just have to watch how things pan out. Assume nothing, expect the unexpected. The final decision will be made by a single judge. Whatever the judge decides, I can guarantee that no companies will be dissolving or burning all of their XRP because of this Ripple. You can bank on that. Leave a comment and tell me what you think. Please subscribe and like as always. See you later, bye.